Okay, for the next talk, titled One Small Step for Magnets, One Giant Leap for Cubing, please welcome my friend and yours, Rubik's Cube scientist, Chris Tran.
Yeah!
Okay, in 2016 I told you that was going to be a boring talk, and I think some of you called me a liar. I'm going to say it again this year, except I'm telling the truth. This year's talk is going to be actually really boring. But for those of you who don't know me, I am Chris Tran. I am a WCA delegate and WDC representative for North America. But there's a twist, because to do this talk, I need to change identities. So, you've been following Cubicle Labs for the past 8 months, few months. We are the research and development wing of Cubicle.us. And what we do is just simple problem solving. Beyond magnets, beyond everything else, it's simply using our brains and the things we've learned in college to improve problems that we have. So if cubes are unstable, they aren't tactile enough, use magnets. If the magnets aren't acting right, tweak the magnets. If the cubes are too heavy, change the magnets, change the adhesive, change the radius. If the lubricants aren't good enough, simply just make better ones. So at Cubicle Labs, you might have seen some stuff that I made. I made this logo. And the cool thing about this logo is like, it almost didn't exist. And now, flash forward to the future, we have people in Southeast Asia making knockoff, like, counterfeits of this logo, putting it on their cubes and selling it for like more. And that's when you know you made it, when people knock off that you made in MS Paint. And I made this. I made this too, this logo too. I made this. And soon, you've probably seen some promotional stuff from Livable Black. I'm going to talk about Livable Black for a little bit. So Livable Black is another green glue, which was solving a problem that we felt hadn't been solved yet. So this was a very, very old project. It was resurrected recently. And it was actually an offshoot of a project that I'm going to tell you about later. Livable Black is basically it's an emulsion of molybdenum disulfide with high viscosity silicone. And if you read engineering textbooks, material science things, a really cheap but very, very effective lubricant for metal on plastic or metal on metal surfaces is molybdenum disulfide. And what Livable Black does is, whenever you have washers, springs, or screws, that molybdenum disulfide, the molecules are shaped in sheets so that they just slide across each other. And it's slightly better than graphite because it's the size of the sheets and the size of the electron clouds. It's a pretty good glue. If you, I'll love to do a demonstration later, maybe even after this. But if you can get a chance to go to the Cubicle side and try it out, do a demo, we would love to share it with you. So Livable Black is coming out. But honestly, what else is there? Like, if you've watched YouTube, you've done all this stuff, you've watched all this news, you already know all this stuff. Cubicle Labs, you just go on YouTube, read our project descriptions. You already know all that. I'm not here to tell you something you already know. So, I have a bigger announcement. We're ready for the next change. Who's ready? Yeah.
Whoa!
Wrong shirt!
Oh, take it!
Got him! Got him, man!
Bamboozle! What? Just to take a pause. Who wants an autographed Cubicle Labs shirt?
Me! Right here!
I didn't think you would get that cute on it.
I have a 5'6" ran out.
Pass me up, Chris!
You can't get that close. James a chance to do this.
Sorry? I'm Asian. My name's Chris.
My name's Chris.
My name is Chris. Hey! I'm Chris.
Asian connection.
No, actually, no, where's convention? trying to convince me.
Hey, you got a witness.
Over there.
Right there.
Right there.
I can't see her. Convince us. How's this? How's this? How's this?
What are you doing, dude?
I'm winning the contest.
What?
That's the important part.
Yes. Anyways.
Here, right here.
Man, they almost scored
Tiger fish. Okay, no. Who I want to nope.
I know a lot of you contact me, and a lot of the times I tell you, I'm sorry I can't be too busy. Even sometimes you see my videos around, it's the weekend, I'm working. Why? What am I doing all this time? How can a person be so consumed with the project that they're busy all the time? It makes no sense. Why would someone work on something to the point that they can't enjoy weekends or trips or things like that? What is the Olivia Project? If anyone's watched my stream, I actually must shut down my stream and say, oh my god, I have information about this. This is my biggest project to date. It is? Well, let me do this a little bit first. So, in order to create the future, we have to understand the past. When we think about Rubik cubes, I've been saying that so much, I'm not going to say it again. When you think about speed cubing and you think about hardware, what were the dominant trends throughout history that led to better cubes? What exactly changed from the Type A to the Diane era into the semi-modern era with the Boyu outlawed? What changed when GANs introduced their 356 and now all these cubes are following suit? By understanding these trends, we can shape the speed cubing future. The Linear Project is a new speed cube, everybody. This is a project that I've been working on for 8 months, and tirelessly, several prototypes, and I'm here to tell you all about it. So, what I was talking about, one of the biggest trends in advancing speed cube technology is the size of the feet of the pieces. You'll notice, I'm going to show you measurements later. This is a little incomplete. Sorry everyone, it's in freedom units, it's in inches, not millimeters. I meant to convert it to metric, but hey, it's July 4th weekend. This last week was. And it's US Nationals, American Nationals, so we're going to be using inches today. But I'm going to tell you some measurements of the pieces, and the thing is, when you look throughout history, stability was noted by marked jumps in the size of the feet. These feet increased by millimeters at a time, and then suddenly they jumped in size when certain things allowed them to do so. So when GANs got rid of that center stall, you were able to extend the feet an extra 1 millimeter in each direction. That's technically 2 millimeters in size. And these shapes of the feet grew bigger, and things became more stable because there was more room for these tracks to move around, less places to do things. And by studying hardware rigorously, and by putting these things objectively into a list of things, we can research them in depth, we can create a better speed cube, in theory. So, the biggest problem right now is you'll notice, has anyone tried putting a GANs piece or a GTS piece into another cube? You'll notice a ball piece, a GTS piece, and a GANs piece, they actually fit into each other. Why? That's kind of weird. When you think about it, they can't expand those feet any larger than they already have, because you cannot shrink the center any further, because you can't shrink the spring. Spring is in the center, and you can't compress it anymore. Right now it's about 0.8 millimeters metric. And if you extend the feet farther out, you'll hit the screw. There's no more room in the cube to expand the inner diameter. Or is there? What if you took everything you knew about the hardware that exists now and literally, quite literally, put it upside down? So I want to show you some measurements. This is a random 2009 cube, the high-end, not the high-end memory, this is the high-end, we're going old school. The quarter feet is about 1/2 inch, and the inner diameter is about 1.3 inches. We're going to compare that with the Vault 3. Now, one thing to keep in mind between these cubes is the Vault 3 is 55.5 millimeters, and the high-end was actually bigger. So although the inner diameter decreased, it's a bigger proportion of the total puzzle. And you'll notice that the total distance of the corner feet, size of the feet, increased markedly. Now, what about this speed cube I've been working on. What are those dimensions? How big are we talking? If this big of a jump led to that big of improvement in performance, how big are we talking? This big. Once again, these are in inches, but you can easily see that's almost double the size of the High-NAP. And the torpedoes, that's a huge difference in the Vault 3. That's 1/4 of an inch. How does this work? I'll show you some measurements. Pictures first. In here, you can see that the inner diameter, these are crappy pictures on my desk, but this is a Vault 3 next to the linear Viridis, which is the name of this cube. This is just a prototype. How did the inner diameter grow to such a size, side by side? These are the feet. You can see the huge difference in feet size. That's the torpedo size. In early prototypes, the torpedo was so big, the cube actually could not be disassembled. Like, we were so far beyond popping, like, we stopped worrying about pops half an inch ago. This was like, you can't even assemble it, so I had to scale that back down so it could be assembled. But this improvement in inner diameter led to these changes. If you take Vault pieces right now, and you take the corner, and you look at the edges, move around it, the torpedo can't move any bigger, because then it'll hit other torpedoes. How did I make these torpedoes so big without impacting others? And that's the feet next to each other. Big difference. And the secret is, if you just take and flip it upside down, you take the tension out of the center altogether, and you put it into the core. The core is just wasted space. It's literally solid plastic that does nothing but hold it back together. What if you took ball bearings and put it underneath the screw, put a crown brace, and if you don't know ball bearings, just think fidget spinners. Think about that, how fast they go. Put that in Rubik's Cube. And then the springs in the center, a lot of cool things happen. But once you do this, you can shrink that center, and you have a whole new inner diameter. And you can do completely different designs. You're no longer limited by that screw or that centerpiece. And I'm going to play this video just to show this stuff in a 1-second video about how, look, pay attention to the spacer back. See how the core retains it, and it can still flex around. I'll play it again. Just a short, quick video. And the cool thing about putting the tension in the center is you can literally see the tension. You don't have to worry about, is this side tighter or this side tighter, this side's too loose. By looking at the position of the spacer nut, the retaining nut, you can literally see the tensions. If it's in the middle, medium tension. If it's at the very bottom, low tension. If it's at the top, high tensions. And you can compare the distance on each of the sides and literally see the tensions every time. You don't have to guess, you don't have to feel. You can see it for yourself. And that was pure serendipity. I didn't actually intend for that to happen, but it was pretty magical when that happened. What's next? Magnets. Magnets. If we're going to build the next speed cube of the future, we have to think ahead. How is China going to do it? And if we look back at previous designs and you look at the Z-Man pyramids, the Bell, or the Moyu magnetic pyramids, Moyu's cube, they use these plastic slots to hold the magnet, and they build these into their injection molds to hold the magnet. There are some problems with that, because it'll shake around, it sounds loose in the cube, and it adds weight. If we're going to do magnets, we're going to have to do it better. How can you do this even better than what might exist for the next 3x3? We have to think one step ahead or forever live in obsolescence. What if you took the magnet and literally embedded it into the plastic of the cube itself? But don't injection molding machines go to 500 to 600 degrees? That's American freedom units. To convert that, it would be 280 to 300 Celsius. Those are the temperatures that plastic melts at. And at those temperatures, if you use a magnetic mold and you put magnets directly into the plastic, it would deactivate the magnets. Heat deactivates magnets. So if you can't do that, how can you solve that problem while simultaneously making something that can produce pieces here in the US? Injection molding is between 10,000 to 15,000 just to get the first run batch. if we can't raise that capital, how can we do this? It turns out it's actually quite simple. There's a technique known as spin casting. This is an early prototype piece. There are magnets embedded in the plastic itself, and the magnet is not deactivated. But that's because spin casting happens at much lower temperatures. And the way it works is centrifugal force, the magnetic mold spins, the magnetic mold pulls the magnets into the correct place, perfect placing, perfect polarity every time, and it pulls the resin into the sides of the wall. And when it does that, you get a true one-piece construction that is seamless, hollow, and you can control the width of the walls of the piece by controlling the volume of the resin. This is simple engineering. And it's simple, it's cheap, and it leads to even more cool stuff that I'll touch on later. But the biggest thing about this is you don't have to pay people to glue magnets into cubes. You don't have to waste time. You literally throw magnets into a mold, put resin in the mold, turn it on, and it cranks out pieces. Economical. And when you have embedded magnets into the plastic itself, you can drop that cube as many times as you want, and the magnet will never dislodge. You have full control of where to place that magnet. Now, if you were doing this with injection molding, you'll notice you can't put the magnet in certain places because there's certain things in the cube that won't allow you to do this, like a pin or something like that. Not like this. You can control the radius completely as well as the distance between the magnets. Obviously, you don't want magnet-on-magnet friction. You don't want metal-on-metal. So you can insulate these magnets with any polymer of your choice, because when you make your own speed cube, you have full horizontal control of the process. And from what I've seen, I've tested high-impact polystyrene tips, ABS polycarbonate, and we have this figured out. This was possible. And when you can control the process completely, why don't you choose the plastic? Well, if you look through history and engineering textbooks, self-lubricating plastic has existed for decades. Why haven't I'm just going to say rubrics from now on. Why haven't rubrics made of it? Is it cost? Is it things? Well, if you look back at Diamond, they tried polyoxime and PLA. The thing is, when you do this with injection molding, the temperatures are different, the shrinkage rates are different. You have to use different molds and different technology for that. But you don't have to do that for spin casting, because you can use a different type of resin and use different additives and do it yourself if you have a chemistry degree. And if you think about Livable Black and Livable One, that actually was never ever the original. That was never the original project. Using those additives and things was actually, the project was made for better plastic. That Teflon and that aluminum disulfide was actually an additive in plastic to make plastic more slippery, to reduce that coefficient of friction. And the cool thing is, if you look at black plastic right now, it feels different because they're using synthetic dyes, recycled plastic, and as well as other things, and it makes the plastic slightly worse, slightly better, depending on what it is. But why don't we make it black with a compound that makes it better? Molybdenum disulfide, Livable Black. Also, you might notice this looks similar to the Livable Black logo. That's because I made it. It's not stealing if you did it yourself. But yeah, when you have full horizontal of the process, why don't you choose plastic that's already soft, already fast, and when it wears down, it actually gets faster? Why can't you just do that? Well, cost. How? You would need an engineer, a chemist. They would need to have cubing experience. They would have to have no social life and be completely dedicated.
I don't have no social.
Wait a minute. I think we have one of those. This is a project that took 8 months, 6 prototypes, and once again, this is not a Cubicle Labs project. This was money from my own pocket that I worked for myself, time for my own weekends, my own evenings, and this is the surprise ending. I give up. I'm going back to school in 5 weeks. I'm moving back to Georgia. I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. And this was actually a twist ending. The original ending into this was I was gonna ask for crowdfunding or Kickstarter, but those take business days to approve, and it did not approve in time for nationals. So that's it. Questions anymore?
You plan to restart the project?
That takes money, man.
So no?
Yes, yes.
It's a bride. Should I ask this?
Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. I will be acting as a someone who is. I don't work directly at the cubicle, but I'll give them ideas. You.
Two things. One, I know you're lying. And two, will this project be for the public or will be restricted?
Might be.
Might be.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep in touch over social media. And the second one, if it does keep progressing, if this works out, yes. And like I said, when you control the whole process horizontally, you can make this competitive with modern CPUs. Yes.
Are you ever going to take this project
Maybe. Let's see.
The
name is important because we spent so many years thinking that we can only make CPUs in China. All of these names are in Chinese. And we think that we can't do this, and you think less of yourself. Never, ever think less of yourself. No more Chinese names. English names, American names, July 4th, America, freedom.
Represent!
Yeah.
If you have no social life, why do you go to school?
Huh?
If you have no social life, why do you go to school?
And why are you
Because I
here?
miss school. School is best. Stay in school, kids.
I don't
Stay
like
in college.
no.
And
No,
also,
you gotta go to school.
yeah.
You have to stay in school. So here.
It's like you have no social life.
Ask him what he's majoring in. What school he's going to.
This means that you're going to jump and keep up to the speed now. So maybe practice the PK, wave 5. Yes.
What school are you going to? What are you
I'm
majoring
going
in?
back to Georgia State University. Yes. Yeah, I do. That would be nice. You. Yes, you. No, you. Yes, you. You don't have to double take anymore. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes, you. Yeah, his name is Patrick Ponce. Yeah! Okay, 5 more minutes. Yes. I have accepted to finish my master's in chemistry as well as a bachelor's in computer science. Yes. I don't have equipment. Maybe if I get more money, it all comes down to money, kids. That's why I gotta stay in school. Yes. We'll see. I still have a few ideas. Look back in 4 to 5 weeks. I don't leave New York that soon. Yes. White plastic is made of Teflon. Yes. Yes. Oh, no problem. It's not. Yes, you. I don't know. It still has a few kinks, but hopefully soon. I can't offer any more insight on that, sorry. Super. Frost, the legend himself. Yes. Yes. Oh, sorry. Am I investing in? Market question. I would say the current trend is if the public is so interested in softer plastic, look into polyester resins. Those are the ones that can be thermo spin casted. And although it might not have very good friction values, that's when you use additives to change that. That's what I think is next best to spin cast. For injection molding, I would say modified ABS. What was your next question? Oh, that was it? Oh, excellent. Yes.
What do you think Lubical Black will be like?
Ask my boss. I'm not sure. So just to touch more about livable black is there's a few issues. We don't like if it stains a little bit. But the cool thing about the stains is, this is totally accidental. I'm not a sellout, I swear. The thing about livable black is it stains your fingers, but it washes off. It doesn't wash off in water. It doesn't wash off in organic solvents. It washes off with livable one. So if you get it on your hands, oh sorry, you got to buy livable one. That wasn't that. I can explain the science behind that in the video. That was not intentional. Yes. Yes.
Why'd you give up?
Because you need money to keep going. That $3,000 was actually a huge fraction of my disposable income. And when you're in school, you're a college kid, you need all the dollars. And adult life is hard. Bills, taxes. Woo! Okay, 2 more questions. Yes. I don't know right now. We'll see what happens in a few weeks. Yes. Yes, I'll still act as like an advisor. I'll still give ideas. I'll be helping them out from a distance. So they'll still be producing everything to the same, if not better standard. Sorry, one last one. Okay.
Like repeat the question.
Oh, sorry, that was the last question. Sorry, we have to make time for the next one. We have to make time for the legend himself, Ross. Oh, okay. Okay, since this is the last question, I'm going to fulfill it. She wanted me to repeat it for everyone.
Go to the next slide.
Everyone give a huge welcome to Ross. It's literally a living legend. Welcome him back.